Tonight, all of the day's major stories here on Prime.
Santos, do you regret taking down...
Expelled from the House after months of intense scrutiny and an ethics investigation that unearthed some sordid details, George Santos is out of a job. What happens next? Plus, the ceasefire ends after a week-long truce that allowed for the release of more than 100 hostages held in Gaza and 240 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. The fragility of the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel was unable to hold. The renewed fighting taking place in Gaza as Israel signals it intends to expand its ground offensive against Hamas. And
we looked at our doctors and said, what do we do?
Hundreds of women all across the country go on the difficult journey of infertility and surrogacy. Tonight, we bring you the journey of one of our own, ABC's Rebecca Jarvis, who reveals the long road and how she found a way to bring her new little one home. Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff, in tonight for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are following those stories and much more, including the major court ruling for former President Donald Trump and future lawsuits over the January 6th insurrection. Plus, Felicity Huffman speaking out for the first time publicly after serving jail time for that nationwide college admissions scandal, and why she says she felt she had to choose between her daughter's future and breaking the law. And remembering a legend as we celebrate the life and accomplishments of the first female Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. Our correspondents are fanned out across the country covering those stories and more for you tonight. But we are going to begin with that historic vote to expel Congressman George Santos. Only the 6th time in history a member of the House has been thrown out. The nearly unprecedented move comes after a scathing House ethics report accused him of blatantly stealing from his campaign to pay for personal items, including trips to Las Vegas, luxury goods, even Botox treatments. The 311 to 114 vote today cleared the 2/3 majority needed to expel Santos. 105 Republicans voted yes as well. Speaker Mike Johnson presided over the vote, as you see here. He, though, and the entire House Republican leadership voted to let Santos stay. Defiant to the end, Santos saying, quote, "To hell with this place." Tonight, his name is already off what used to be his office. So what comes next? And with the GOP's razor-thin majority now down to just 3 seats, how soon will we see a replacement? Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott leading us off from Washington.
George Santos knew he was a dead man walking, but he was hoping this morning his Republican colleagues would save him yet again.
Are you expecting that this vote will be successful today, that you will be expelled?
I don't know.
The young congressman from New York, already mired in scandal when he was sworn in less than a year ago. He'd been caught lying about his education, his career, and his family background, even falsely claiming that his grandparents survived the Holocaust and that his mother survived 9/11.
I've said I was sorry many times. I've behaved as if I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm deeply sorry.
But his troubles only got worse. Santos was charged with 23 federal crimes, including identity theft and credit card fraud. He pleaded not guilty. And then that stunning report from the bipartisan House Ethics Committee, finding he stole money from his campaign to pay for rent, designer clothes, even Botox. Today, he still wouldn't explain himself.
Why won't you address any of the allegations in the report? Did you use campaign funds to pay for Botox, to pay for rent?
It's not smart to do that.
And just minutes before the vote, new accusations coming to light. Fellow Republican Congressman Max Miller of Ohio accusing Santos of illegally charging thousands to his credit card after Miller made a campaign contribution.
The guy completely burned us and defrauded us. He is a crook.
Still in another extraordinary turn of events, the entire House Republican leadership, including Speaker Mike Johnson, standing by the embattled congressman, knowing he was a key vote in their fragile majority.
Speaker Johnson, will you be voting against this resolution to expel Santos?
Yes.
Speaker Johnson saying expelling a lawmaker who hasn't been convicted of a crime would set a dangerous precedent. But many rank-and-file Republicans disagreed.
Does this set a dangerous precedent?
I think the precedent is that we're holding members of Congress to a higher standard. I don't know any person throughout this nation who wouldn't want or expect members of Congress to be held to a higher standard.
When the vote came down, Santos was toast.
The clerk will notify the governor of the state of New York of the action of the House.
Expelled immediately, Santos quickly fled the Capitol. His parting words, "To hell with this place." And soon after, this scene outside his old office, security guards taking down his nameplate. and changing the locks on the door.
And Rachel joins me now from Capitol Hill. Rachel, there will be a special election to replace George Santos. How important is that seat?
It will be extremely important because Republicans are now faced with an even slimmer majority in the House. They really can't afford to lose any votes. So that special election will take place early next year, and Democrats see a real opportunity to pick up a seat. Phil.
Rachel Scott from Capitol Hill tonight. Rachel, thank you. All right, joining us now for more is Nassau County, New York Republican Committee Chair Joe Cairo. Joe, thanks so much for taking the time. We know it's obviously been a busy day. Right off the bat, I just want to get your reaction to George Santos becoming only the 6th member of the House to ever be expelled.
I think it's sad for the country, sad for the members of the 3rd Congressional District, the residents. It's a blemish that has now been pushed aside. It was a stain, and we've got rid of it. Now let's move on and elect someone new to represent the people of the 3rd District.
I want to get to that process in just a minute, but I'm curious, how did you feel when you saw that none of the Republican leaders in Congress today voted to oust Santos? And I know they've been sort of hedging their bet all week and it didn't really whip votes or anything like that, but what did you think when you saw that?
Well, I think I was proud of our 4 congressmen here on Long Island for the way they voted. Anthony D'Esposito, Andrew Garbarino, Nick LaLota, the 3 of them who voted. I think that the others, hopefully as an attorney, I feel that if they felt that it was innocent until proven guilty and that was their reason, then I respect that. If it was otherwise, I don't know what the reasons were, but I can't comment because I'm unsure.
So in addition to the scathing House ethics report that you've seen, of course, we learned shortly after he was elected that Santos lied about where he went to college, where he worked, among many other things. I'm wondering, will this whole episode change the vetting process for candidates, do you think?
Yeah, it has changed the vetting process. We had this morning 22 potential candidates, all of whom are being interviewed. We've received 3 or 4 more calls today. They will go through an extensive committee meet with several members of our Republican committee. They'll be questioned. They have to provide resumes, et cetera. Then when we narrow it down to a few, we will have an outside agency, an outside firm will retain them to do a more thorough vetting investigation.
Yeah, and it's an interesting process. Let's talk just a little bit more about that, because unlike in the primaries where the voters choose each party nominee, in special elections like this, as you just mentioned, party leaders like yourself help decide who will be the nominee. So I'm wondering, what is Nassau County, the Republican Party there in Nassau County, looking for in their next candidate?
Well, as you said, it's a special election, so there is no primary provision. Candidates cannot primary in either party, Republican, Democrat, or any of the other constituted parties. So what we'll do is we'll have our committee look to see the credentials of the people, to see if they reflect the philosophy of the Republican Party, to see who's most electable, and then to see who will best serve as a Republican the constituents of the 3rd Congressional District. It's a heavy burden, and that's why we'll have several members of our committee, including former Congressman Peter King, who served for 28 years as members of that committee, so we can come up with the best possible candidate based upon the criteria
one of the things Congressman Santos continuously said on Capitol Hill was, the voters put me here. The voters put me here. It's not up for Congress people to send me back home. But in your area and talking to voters, do they feel like they voted for the person they voted for with all of the lies that came out?
Of course not. 9 out of 10 people that we speak to that our elected officials interact with don't believe they elected George Santos. He was a fictitious character that they elected. George Santos wasn't honest with the people. And I believe that based upon the several 100,000 pages of documents, few 100,000 pages of documents, plus the subpoenas that were issued, there was a thorough investigation by the Ethics Committee, and that was sufficient for the expulsion to be warranted and to be so voted today.
And just finally, sir, do you think he's done any kind of lasting damage to either the Republican Party at large or there in Nassau County?
I think there are a few people who will feel that way, but we just had an election in Nassau County this past November, last month. We had overwhelming success throughout the portion of the county which would lie within the 3rd Congressional District. The Democrats tried to put that around our candidate's neck. It failed. People are there looking for candidates who are qualified. We'll make sure we have one this time. And basically, the issues are with us here on Long Island. We're going to continue, I think, to be successful and elect another Republican come the special election, probably in February.
We do appreciate your time, Nassau County, New York Republican Committee Chair Joe Cairo. Thanks so much. I know it's been a busy day.
Thank you very much.
Now to the war between Israel and Hamas. Combat resumed again this morning after talks to extend the week-long truce fell apart. Within hours, Israel struck more than 200 of what it called terror targets in Gaza, most of them in the south, which is also where Israel told Palestinians to go for safety. The Hamas-run health ministry says at least 178 people were killed. This comes as a report claims Israel had a copy of Hamas's battle plans months before October 7th, that terrible attack, but ignored that warning. ABC's Matt Gutman reports from Israel.
Tonight, Gaza's hospitals once again filled with the cries of the wounded after that week-long ceasefire collapsed. Israel rocking Gaza, hitting over 200 targets, accusing Hamas of breaking the truce by firing multiple salvos of rockets at Israel. In Gaza, this boy with a head wound, his sister tenderly comforting him. This little girl, bandages over her eyes, crying for her mother. A UNICEF spokesperson describing the horrors.
We cannot see more children with the wounds of war, with the burns, with the shrapnel littering their body, with the broken bones.
About 1.8 million Gazans have fled to southern Gaza from the north, but Israel bombing there too. Among them, 22-year-old student Tala Herzala, who we've been following.
Where's the shelter that we can go and they can't bomb?
Israel has said it created a new system to warn civilians of impending fighting, dropping leaflets in southern Gaza today, urging civilians to move to a sliver of land near the coast.
So do you expect 2 million Palestinians to move into this very, very small strip of land?
If they go there, their chances of surviving are much, much higher.
The ceasefire breaking down with the fate of more than 130 hostages, including 8 Americans, hanging in the balance.
It came to an end because of Hamas.
And tonight, that bombshell new report, the New York Times indicating the Israeli military obtained a 40-page Hamas document codenamed Jericho Wall, calling for a barrage of rockets at the outset of the attack, drones to knock out the security cameras, and automated machine guns along the border. It was the very battle plan that Hamas used to execute the October 7th attack, which left over 1,200 people dead. According to the Times, Israeli intelligence officials completely underestimated Hamas's capability and dismissed the plan as aspirational, even ignoring clear evidence Hamas militants were training to breach the border, storm a kibbutz, and paraglide into neighborhoods, which is exactly what played out with shocking precision. One Israeli intelligence analyst sounding the alarm 3 months before the Hamas attack, saying it was designed to start a war, according to the report.
The IDF has been very clear. The chief of staff has said, we failed, and we take responsibility.
Are the same intel analysts still working now who were involved then?
All of them still are, and they're doing very well in finding new targets and applying pressure on Hamas.
U.S. officials telling ABC News there are no indications the U.S. intelligence community was provided the alleged Hamas document in advance.
And Matt joins us now from Tel Aviv. Matt, despite the renewed fighting, are negotiators still working to free the hostages and resume a ceasefire?
They are, Phil, and they've been working around the clock throughout. The basic framework of the deal remains the same, according to Israeli sources. Hamas would get 24 hours of ceasefire for each batch of 10 living hostages it's willing to release. But there's an additional calculus here, and that is changing. Hamas is sort of running out of an available pool of hostages that it considers eligible for release. We're now talking about soldiers, men and women, adult males, younger adult women, and Hamas is going to demand a higher price for that. Israel says it's not going to wait around for those negotiations to play out. And Israeli sources also tell me that they believe that Hamas only responds to pressure. So the best way, they say, of freeing the hostages is not through talking. It's by taking the fight to Hamas's leaders in southern Gaza. Phil.
And so now the fighting continues. Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv. Thank you, Matt. And with the end of the ceasefire comes the resumption of what international humanitarian organizations have been concerned with for some time now, the incredible loss of life in Gaza as Israel's airstrikes intensify and the country signals its intention to increase the ground offensive against Hamas. Despite saying it has warned those in southern Gaza they are searching for Hamas. The executive director of UNICEF putting out a statement that said in part today, quote, "Today, the Gaza Strip is once again the most dangerous place in the world to be a child. After 7 days of respite from horrific violence, fighting has resumed. More children will surely die as a result." ABC's Tom Soufi-Burridge reports on unimaginable suffering as the onslaught of war sets back in, and a warning, some of these images you're about to see are difficult to watch.
After 7 days of calm, horror has returned to Gaza.
The ceasefire is over. We can already hear the bombing, and I'm at a hospital. There was a hit about 50 metres from here.
Israel claiming it hit more than 200 terror targets today. Gaza's health authority, run by Hamas, saying dozens more civilians killed and hundreds more injured since that ceasefire collapsed this morning. This man saying a house which was hit was full of children.
I'm terrified that this turns into many, many more thousands of people being killed.
There was already in this small strip of land death and destruction on a vast scale. The level of suffering for more than 2 million packed in here, hard to take in.
زلزال مش حزامنا هذا زلزال بادوا الحارة إبادة جماعية.
It's a place where nowhere is safe and the young suffer.
I've not seen the wounds of war of children like this before. To see children lying on the floor with limbs missing, to see the number of amputees.
UNICEF's James Elder inside Gaza telling us the faces of children today changed again.
I was starting to see childhood return to a few kids as you would play and chat to them. That's been replaced by fear again. There's a trauma that returns very quickly.
And today, more graphic images emerging from Gaza's already struggling hospitals. Catastrophic humanitarian picture on the ground, with hundreds of thousands already displaced, will now almost inevitably get worse. Overcrowded, tented cities popping up in southern Gaza, with the World Health Organization warning disease is on the rise. With the war reigniting, Tamir asking, where will we go? Saying the suffering here is beyond what you can imagine.
If this goes for a week or two, then you could only fear the worst for a population that has nowhere to go, absolutely nowhere safe.
Our thanks to Tom Soufi-Burridge for that report. And now to a new development on a story we've been following for months regarding a 1,000-foot-long floating barrier in the Rio Grande. An appeals court has ordered Texas to remove it. Judges said the state violated environmental law when it installed the barrier in July on the river without the federal government's permission. The court also said it found Texas's argument that the barrier was not permanent structure, quote, unconvincing. It's one of many controversial strategies Texas Governor Greg Abbott has implemented to prevent migrants from crossing the border. Next tonight, a new legal setback for former President Donald Trump. A D.C. appeals court has cleared the way for civil lawsuits against him for allegedly inciting the January 6th Capitol riot, rejecting his claim of absolute immunity. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas.
Former President Trump has long claimed he's immune from all civil and criminal liability for inciting the violent mob on January 6th, arguing he was acting in his official capacity as president.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Tonight, in a long-awaited decision, a federal appeals court ruled that when Trump held that rally on the Ellipse, he was not acting as president, but as a candidate for president. Writing, when a first-term president opts to seek a second term, his campaign to win re-election is not an official presidential act.
He had argued he had absolute immunity because he was president of the United States. And the appeals court distinguishing here between the president and the presidential candidate.
Trump can still appeal the ruling, but for now it clears the way for the plaintiffs, that include 2 injured Capitol police officers and several members of Congress, to sue Trump for monetary damages, adding to the pile of legal woes facing the former president. Meanwhile, today in Georgia, Trump's attorneys were in state court on the Fulton County election interference case, making the case that the charges should be dismissed. They said that Trump fighting the election results was political speech protected by the First Amendment. No ruling on that just yet. Phil?
Pierre Thomas from the nation's capital. Pierre, thank you. Next tonight to the disturbing scene outside the Israeli consulate in Atlanta. A protester attempted to set themselves on fire. The security guard who tried to stop it also suffering burns. Police say a Palestinian flag was recovered at the scene in what they believe was an act of extreme political protest. Faith Abube reports from Atlanta.
Tonight, the disturbing scene outside the Israeli consulate in Atlanta. A protester setting themselves on fire using gasoline.
This was likely an extreme act of political protest.
The FBI and ATF investigating after police say a security guard noticed the demonstrator and tried to intervene.
Both individuals sustained burns. The security guard was burned on his wrist as well as his leg.
Medical personnel loading that guard into an ambulance, rushing him and the protester to the hospital. They say the protester is in critical condition. Investigators examining what appears to be burned clothing and material on the sidewalk. Authorities say a Palestinian flag was part of that protest. Officials say no one in the building was injured, and there doesn't appear to be a nexus to terrorism.
Right now, we're not aware of any credible threat against this location or anyone in this building. We believe this building remains safe.
Our thanks to Faith Abube from Atlanta tonight. Meantime, the mayor of Los Angeles is warning about a possible serial killer on the loose preying on homeless victims. At least 3 people have been murdered since Sunday. Tonight, we're getting a look at surveillance images from the LAPD. Here's ABC's Kana Wentworth.
Tonight, police in Los Angeles are searching for a serial killer, releasing this grainy photo of a man they believe is preying on homeless victims, along with an image of the suspect's car.
We're asking the public to look at these images and to help us identify the person responsible.
3 homeless people have been murdered in separate shootings across the city since Sunday. Police say the suspect shot each victim while they were sleeping alone on a sidewalk or alley in an open area. And tonight, the mayor urging the homeless to avoid sleeping outside alone.
Do not sleep alone tonight. Seek shelter, seek services, stay together.
The LAPD now adding patrols to areas where the homeless sleep. On any given night, up to 75,000 people could be found on the streets of LA County.
Kana joins us now from Los Angeles. Kana, what else are we learning tonight about the investigation to try to catch this possible serial killer?
So first of all, Phil, homicide and robbery detectives have gotten together. They've created a task force. There's also a 24-hour hotline that people can call if they see anything. But Phil, to give you an idea of the scope of concern here, the Los Angeles police chief is reaching out to law enforcement across the region to see if they've had any similar incidents. Phil.
All right, Kana, thanks so much. And tonight, we are remembering an American trailblazer, Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman justice to serve on that high court. She died today at 93. For more than 2 decades, Justice O'Connor was an independent voice on the court, building compromise, but always with a quiet authority and grace. ABC's Terry Moran looks back at her life, her influence, and the divisive vote she cast.
Sandra Day O'Connor was a towering figure on the U.S. Supreme Court for 24 years, the crucial swing vote, shaping the law in case after case. And she was so much more. An American icon, the no-nonsense rancher's daughter and brilliant legal mind who had to fight entrenched sexism every step of the way of her remarkable rise to power. She learned to brand a calf and fire a rifle before she was 10, and she was a brilliant student near the top of her class at Stanford Law School. But when she graduated, the only job offer she got was to be a legal secretary, as she told George Stephanopoulos.
You graduate at the top of your class in law school and can't get a job.
Not even an
lawyer.
interview.
Not even an interview.
Much less a job. Isn't that amazing? Well, times changed, but that was at a time in the middle of the last century when women weren't hired as lawyers.
But none of that could stop her. She went to work for the district attorney, won a seat in the state senate, and became a state judge. Then President Reagan, fulfilling a campaign promise, chose her to become the first woman on the Supreme Court.
She is truly a person for all seasons, possessing those unique qualities of temperament, fairness, intellectual capacity, and devotion to the public good
When O'Connor arrived at the court, she discovered there were no women's bathrooms near the justices' offices. That changed, and much else.
It was a signal that it was all right that women could be in such positions, that they could do well in such positions. And so opportunities at every level, not just for lawyers and judges, but across the spectrum, opened for women. It was wonderful.
She cast the decisive votes on numerous landmark cases, upholding Roe v. Wade and the right to choose abortion, preserving affirmative action in higher education, and upholding congressional regulation of campaign spending by corporations and unions. All those cases later overturned. In 2006, she stepped down from the court. Her husband had developed Alzheimer's, and she wanted to take care of him. And then, in a bitter irony, she announced in 2018 she had been diagnosed with dementia herself and was withdrawing from public life.
And Terry joins us now from outside the Supreme Court. Terry, just an incredible, remarkable life and legacy. How do you think Justice O'Connor will be remembered in years to come?
Well, Phil, she'll always be remembered as the first, of course, the first woman on the United States Supreme Court. And school children for generations will learn about that, and they'll be inspired by that childhood she had on the 150,000-acre ranch where she developed an appetite for hard work that she never lost. It's already the stuff of legend. And then on the court, you know, she'll be remembered really as the great pragmatist. She brought practical experience in American politics. She was an elected representative in the state Senate of Arizona, and she brought that sense of how the world really works to a court that needs it sometimes. She constantly searched for that middle ground between the language of the law and the actual realities of the lives of the people who come before the court. That is a legacy that I think future justices will find very rich and very useful in their work. Phil?
That middle ground for sure. All right, Terry Moran from the Supreme Court tonight. There's still much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, check your Gmail, why you could lose your account if you haven't used it in a while. But next, our Rebecca Jarvis shares her journey on the long, difficult road to pregnancy and a message for others struggling with fertility or miscarriage.
Every time I got pregnant, I would look at the world with rose-colored glasses. And I would imagine what life was going to be like on the other side.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. It is a journey experienced by countless women across this country every year, infertility and surrogacy. It's something a member of our ABC News family and her growing family have experienced for themselves. Rebecca Jarvis, her husband Matt, big sister Isabel just welcomed their son Leo. But it was not an easy journey, and now they want to share their long road to bringing him home.
When I pictured our family, I always thought of my family, the family I grew up with, as one of two kids. My younger sister Lauren and I are incredibly close. And so as I thought about my future, our future, I always envisioned that we would have two, that we'd be a family of four. It has been a very long road for us, for fertility, for pregnancy. I did IVF to get pregnant with Isabel. And before her, I had done 7 rounds of IVF in order to have her. One of the hardest parts of our fertility journey is that there's never been a name. It's always been unexplained. And I know now, having gone through this, that that's the case for so many women.
2 years ago, we had just experienced another miscarriage in the IVF journey. And that catalyzed the search for another route.
I had just lost a pregnancy at 5 months. And we looked at our doctors and said, what do we do? This keeps happening, and there's no telling whether we can be successful, whether I can maintain a successful pregnancy. And our doctors said, surrogacy is your best path forward. And that was hard to hear, in a way.
It was.
At the time.
We'd never considered that.
Every time I got pregnant, I would look at the world with rose-colored glasses. And I would imagine what life was going to be like on the other side. And every time I lost a pregnancy, to have that taken away was so tough. So even in the surrogacy, I really did hold my breath for a very long time. And I probably, in some ways, to protect myself and my family, didn't want to feel that massive excitement and that massive joy until I really felt that it was truly a sure thing. But when I did allow myself to feel that way, it was truly the best feeling to be able to look at Matt and say, we are having a baby. We're having another baby. Yep. Isabel is going to have a little brother. Our family will be a family of 4.
As I was talking with a very good group of friends about our journey, I had mentioned one of the aspects of trepidation that my wife had was, I won't be carrying the baby, and how do I know I'll have a connection? And somebody else is carrying our baby, I won't have that maternal connection. And one of my very good friends said, well, you just tell her, now she knows how a dad feels. And that perspective was very useful to you.
It really was.
And what it meant was, it doesn't diminish your love for the child. It doesn't diminish your love for the family that you're building. It just means you have a different perspective.
Totally packed. A lot of swaddles. Hopefully he can't break out of these. When we left New York to witness the birth, I couldn't get over how surreal the whole thing was. And just feeling so happy, but also how strange it was that we were gonna get on an airplane, fly across the country, and, God willing, come home with a baby boy. We're about to leave for the hospital. Feeling so excited. Also anxious, given everything that we've been through to get here. That first moment when we saw Leo.
I yelled, he's perfect.
The moment Isabel met Leo.
Open up, buddy.
To see her meet her little brother and to give him such care and such sweet kisses and hugs. Yeah. She really is an incredible big sister. And also the feeling of gratitude towards our surrogate and her family. I just wanted to hug her and give her all of our love that we were also pouring over Leo, because there's no way this would have been possible without her. It was truly magical.
Yes, it was.
And then to have it be real now is the best.
Beautiful little boy and family. Our congratulations to Rebecca and Matt and the whole family. And still ahead here on Prime, we're going to take a look at that new Beyonce single everybody's talking about. Also, actress Felicity Huffman is explaining for the first time why she bribed an official to correct answers on her daughter's SATs. And coming up, after George Floyd's murder, much of corporate America vowed to address racial imbalances in the workplace. 3 years later, where do things stand? We're going to take a look by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
No one can get enough of Taylor and Travis.
Totally don't think it's fake. I think it's real. Are you kidding?
Your personal life is not going to be personal anymore, Travis Kelce. You are dating Taylor Swift.
1, 2, 3, got me.
We've never seen something like this.
Everyone went nuts. I think that people are intrigued enough to see what happens with this, especially because it feels like this is a different relationship for Taylor.
It's Taylor and Travis, now streaming on Hulu.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
National forests are good places to get away. But sometimes bad things happen in good places.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
All I could see was their feet sticking up. My knees went weak.
This is a human skull.
We were definitely against the clock.
How many more victims are out there?
Wild Crime, Blood Mountain, now streaming only on Hulu.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We've seen tank after tank pouring into this area.
This is where it all began.
Bullet holes all up the wall.
Within minutes, the air raid sirens going off.
You can hear the sound of an explosion.
We are pinned down here.
Tonight, Israel waging a fierce bombardment of Gaza.
The Israel-Hamas war. For non-stop live coverage, stream ABC News Live.
Reporting from southern Israel, from the front lines.
In downtown Ramallah.
In Beirut.
Wherever the story is, we'll take you there.
ABC News Live.
Reporting from Columbiana, Ohio, I'm Alex Perchet. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. After George Floyd's murder, much of corporate America made moves to address the racial imbalances in their workforces. Bloomberg News analyzed some of the biggest public companies to see if they kept their promises to hire more people of color and if there's been a lasting impact. Here's where Bloomberg says things stand by the numbers. Companies with 100 or more employees are required to report their demographics annually to the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Bloomberg analyzed data from 2020 and 2021 from 88 S&P 100 companies to calculate the job growth at those firms. Those firms increased their U.S. workforces by 323,094 jobs in 2021, which was the first year after Black Lives Matter protests. Notably, 302,570 hires were people of color. That's 94% of the total headcount increase. Black workers made particular gains at 70 companies in the data set. Managers and professionals increased in ranks. 20,524 jobs went to white workers, but keep in mind that white people still hold a disproportionate share of the highest paid roles at the companies. Even with these gains, people of color only gained 2% of roles in executive, managerial, and professional jobs compared to 2020. So it turns out corporate America did prioritize more diverse hires in 2021. However, since that time, in the current period of economic slowdown, the latest data suggests a backlash to corporate diversity efforts. There's much more ahead here on Prime. As winter settles in over Ukraine, once again, President Zelensky is visiting the front lines, and he has an urgent plea for the West. And it was a big night on broadcast TV, crowning America's new golden couple. Our Juju Chang talks with the happy septuagenarians.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine,
Reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In rolling forth, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
We're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Good morning, America.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. A former Olympic gold medalist sentenced for his part in the January 6th riot. The Big Mac is getting a makeover, and Macaulay Culkin gets a star. Those stories and more in tonight's rundown.
Former Olympic gold medal swimmer Cleet Keller sentenced for his role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol, one of the first defendants to plead guilty to a felony, obstructing an official proceeding. He was seen in videos wearing a Team USA jacket in the Capitol Rotunda. Keller apologized in a letter to the court earlier this year, saying he was ashamed and profoundly embarrassed.
You know the jingle.
To all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
McDonald's says it's revamping the Big Mac, most notably cooking smaller batches of patties. After completing an initial test on the West Coast, the fast food giant says the changes will roll out nationwide early next year. According to the Wall Street Journal, the changes include juicier patties and onions, more sauce, meltier cheese, fresher lettuce and pickles, and a thicker bottomed bun. As for the top bun, that will apparently have more spread out sesame seeds.
If you have a Gmail account you haven't used in a while, it could be deleted by the end of the day. Google will begin purging accounts that have not been used or signed into for at least 2 years. The company announced the move earlier this year as part of an effort to protect users from security threats.
New details regarding what could mean the divorce of one of music's most successful pairings, as Daryl Hall fights to prevent longtime musical partner John Oates from selling half of their joint venture without his consent.
You're a rich girl, and you're gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway.
A judge ruling to extend a restraining order filed by Hall, temporarily blocking the sale of Whole Oats Enterprises, which includes the band's trademarks, record royalties, and name, image, and likeness, to music catalog giant Primary Wave. Court documents painting a picture of what led to this bitter battle. Hall calling the possible sale by Oates the ultimate partnership betrayal, coming just as he says the duo were in mediation on other issues and he was about to go on tour, saying it caused tremendous upheaval, harm, and difficulty in my life. And I believe that John Oates timed the unauthorized transaction to create the most harm to me. Oates filing a response of his own, claiming, I have no idea who or what is motivating Daryl to take these steps and make such salacious statements, but I am deeply hurt.
Alone no more, today actor Macaulay Culkin received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
And in the spirit of the holiday season, I just want to say, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Best known for starring in Home Alone as a child, he was joined by his on-screen mother, Catherine O'Hara, and actress Natasha Lyonne. Culkin was joined by Brenda Song, Rory Culkin, Quinn Culkin, Seth Green, and Paris Jackson to celebrate his 40-year acting career. This is the 2,765th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
You're in Beyonce's house.
Who that came to see me? Who rapping like me? Don't make me get up out of my seat. Don't make me come up off of this beat.
The superstar dropped a surprise new single Thursday night called My House to celebrate the release of her Renaissance film. The song plays during the credits of the part documentary, part concert film. That same night at the film's London premiere, Taylor Swift appeared on the red carpet, returning the favor for B's appearance at Swift's concert film premiere.
For the first time, actress Felicity Huffman is speaking about her role in the college admissions cheating scandal. Huffman was fined and served 11 days in prison for paying a $15,000 bribe to have her daughter's wrong answers corrected on her SAT exam. She was one of 33 parents, including actress Lori Loughlin, to face federal charges in the scheme. She says she broke the law to protect her daughter's future.
I know hindsight is 20/20, but it felt like I would be a bad mother if I didn't do it. So I did it.
Huffman says her daughter retook the SATs and is now studying drama in college. A billionaire couple summons a group of some of the most accomplished people in the world to a secretive summit in the mountains. The guest list includes business people, trailblazers, artists, and a 24-year-old amateur detective turned author. But when death strikes that retreat, she has to jump into action in a murder at the end of the world.
When they're trapped at the end of the world,
you have to make this life livable.
There's no going back.
Welcome. It's so exciting to see you all here.
No escape.
Joining me now is director and actor Britt Marling. Britt, so good to see you. Thanks for the conversation. Excited to talk about this new work. You've worked with your longtime collaborator, Zalbat Manglish. I'm wondering, you guys have worked together for so long. How did the idea come up for this particular plot? Because it is twisty.
It is twisty indeed. You know, I think we were just really interested in the idea of doing a kind of Agatha Christie style whodunit. We did some research on the whodunit, and it turned out it came into popularity between the First and the Second World War, which was, I think, another time when we were all kind of looking around and being like, whodunit? How did we get here? So it felt like it was a ripe time for reinvention by putting, you know, a modern, young, female amateur sleuth at the center of that story.
Even before we know what's happening, there's this suspense. I mean, we just showed a part of the trailer to our viewers, and you can see it. How do you keep that momentum rising through the episodes?
You know, it's funny. We've been doing this for a while now, and one of the pleasures we get out of storytelling is sometimes braiding genres. So A Murder at the End of the World is in part, you know, a whodunit and a story of an amateur sleuth who gets invited to a retreat, has to unravel this mystery. But it's also a love story and a story of Darby Hart's coming of age as a detective. These stories are braided together, you know, the cold murder mystery in Iceland and then a story that's actually a love story across the American West. And I think that allows us to kind of keep upping the tension with every episode, because you just kind of don't know what's going to happen in either storyline and then how they'll braid together in the end.
Let's talk about Darby for a second, because I find this so fascinating, especially with the op-ed you wrote years ago about the strength of female characters and how that was seen by some people almost like you don't want to play a strong female lead, but that wasn't really what you were saying. And I'm wondering if you prove that with Darby and the way she is.
So it's so lovely of you to bring that up. Yeah, I think I wrote that op-ed from the perspective of feeling like we were kind of attempting in Hollywood to do strong female characters, but often our version of that was just, you know, the assassin is now played by a woman, and it's now just a woman, you know, wielding the guns and killing people, which is a version of strength, but I think is missing some of the qualities that women often bring that are softer but also strong, like their empathy or their capacity for listening, or and so it was nice to try to create a character in Darby that brought some of those qualities to the table. You know, yes, she's courageous, but it doesn't mean she's without fear.
Yeah, it's super thoughtful in character development, and empathy can definitely be a superpower. You are well known for playing leading roles in your projects while you co-produce them, screenwriting. This time, you're directing in a supporting role. I'm wondering how different the creative process is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to direct for a while, and I think because of the nature of the worlds we build, they're so ambitious and they have so many characters in it, and it's often sort of near sci-fi, and there's huge sets that have to be built and big VFX sequences, and so it just felt like in order to really direct in the way I wanted to, I had to take a step back from acting and give myself the space to do it. So I was happy to play a supporting role in this and really carve out the time to direct and sort of take the way I had imagined things on the page all the way to the screen, and to have it be realized in the way that I had first imagined. It was an incredible part of the process for me.
Britt, thanks so much for joining us. The first 4 episodes of Murder at the End of the World are now streaming on Hulu. New episodes are released on Tuesday. We are also tracking several headlines around the world for you tonight. Ukrainian President Zelensky preparing his country for yet another winter at war, looking to beef up defenses on the front line. He is also raising concerns over the West's resolve to continue to fund the war effort. King Charles said humans are carrying out, quote, vast, frightening experiment on the planet as he took the stage at the COP28 climate summit in Dubai. The king said that human race's survival will, quote, be imperiled if something isn't done to reverse the effects of climate change. He's campaigned about protecting the environment for decades now. Minimum wage in Mexico will see a big jump next year by 20%, the equivalent of about $14.25 per day. That's according to the country's president. Roughly 1/3 of Mexico's registered workers report earning the current minimum, about $1.75 per hour. The Mexican currency increased by 10% in value against the dollar since December of 2020, largely due to the high numbers of remittance to the country. Finally tonight, it was a big night on broadcast television as the first ever Golden Bachelor found love before millions. Ahead of last night's final episode of the hit series, Juju Chang spoke with Gary Turner and his new leading lady.
Every day I choose you.
Oh my God.
Will you marry me?
Yes!
America has their golden couple.
Okay, I want to see the ring. It's so beautiful.
Gary Turner handing his final rose and his heart to Teresa Nist.
You found your person.
I did.
Hello, person.
Hey.
What's it like to be found?
Amazing.
Their road to the mansion was similar, encouraged by their daughters to apply, their grief from losing their spouses turning out to be their icebreaker.
You've bonded on this loss, this grief that you share. But when you first were talking about it, you didn't cry. You were both calm about it.
Because we understood what each had gone through.
It may have been one of the first times I talked about it and I didn't cry because I knew she understood.
How would you describe the other pieces that make this puzzle fit?
You know, there's a number of things. The sense of humor we share is huge. I'm finding that she is very good at keeping me grounded.
When did sparks fly for you?
Oh, well, first of all, immediately when I met him, and then sitting on the bench.
You ready?
Yes. And then that date was out of this world amazing.
That hope is huge.
That's what you need to wake up each morning. You need hope.
You don't stop believing.
And then this incredible flash mob.
Don't stop believing.
Despite those sparks, Teresa says she needed to take a step back and let Gary go on his own journey.
We had beautiful, wonderful women there. Faith, Leslie, they're amazing.
Gary finding himself on a roller coaster of emotions, admitting sometimes he felt hypocritical.
Everything you told the other night was a complete and utter lie.
I felt like a villain at times.
But you were also required to be a heartbreaker.
Yes, it is an artificial environment. I didn't realize how impactful it would be. I hate myself and I hate everything right now. Oh, God.
We weren't sure that Teresa was going to get the rose.
I figured that one.
Which might have given a lot of people, including the viewers, false hope. That you know, how could you say that to a woman?
I really have no response to that other than at that moment, that's sort of how I felt.
That you thought she might have been the one.
Yes.
In the end, Gary says it was Teresa he couldn't live without, proving that love is not only just for the young.
You've agreed to get married live.
Oh my God, yes.
On TV.
Yes. Wow.
It's amazing.
Yep, there's a certain amount of time involved when you get to 70. Let's get married, let's go right now.
You've become a cultural phenomenon. And now the both of you.
That's a huge compliment. It's not just about me. You know, remember, 22 women were there. Everyone brought that genuine feeling of support and love for each other. And it's like, we are not invisible.
The women there felt seen. They felt excited. They felt sexy. They felt desirable.
Yeah, it was life-changing for us. We did feel like we were important and that they were telling our story. This is amazing that this is happening at this time in our lives. What's going on this week?
And congratulations to them. That's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. And you can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. Good night.